little bit of a teaser before the break, but Crumbs, why don't we repeat what we got in store for us, especially because Sven is stepping in, King is going up to the LCS.
That's right. Cloud9 Academy, who were the dominant force of last split, who played in the finals of Proving Grounds and lost to No.org, now have changed King, the AD carry that has won Academy last year, to Sven, the LCS champion. So, yeah, that's a pretty wild one. No one would have expected Sven to be here. He played very well in MSI over in Iceland just a few weeks ago. So this team, in theory, should be stronger with his own leadership. So we'll see how good they can get. Whereas on the Golden Guardian side, well, you now have Niles coming back to the Academy scene. So maybe the jump from collegiate to pro was a bit too high for him. So being put back here should just be the ramp up that maybe should have been there before. But he was very good when he was in collegiate, so I think that he'll do fine here as well.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say, is that Niles kind of got thrown to the wolves. Same with Newbie getting immediately thrust into the LCS and pretty much told to sink or swim. It's not like they really sank, but they more were just doggy paddling and might have needed a little bit more of a stepping stone to be able to get up there first. So being here in Academy, I think is going to be a nice little thing for them to be able to learn a bit more. I know you're laughing at my little analogy there.
That was very
good.
Mean,
but it's appropriate. I feel like these are very talented players, but they needed a little bit more experience before getting thrust immediately there.
Yeah, it doesn't work for everyone, right? We all have different ways of learning. Some people do work perfectly by throwing them off the deep end. Others do require that slow ramp-up time. So I like that an organization sticks to the players and says, all right, well, this didn't work. Let's see if another avenue can find you. It shows that they have more belief in it shows belief in themselves, frankly, right? Others say, oh, you just didn't believe in the player. Well, you hired the player in the first place, right? You must have seen something in them. It's up to you to see if you can extract that and turn it into something beautiful. So here they are, turning that doggy paddling into perhaps a fully formed breaststroke.
And that's what you're hoping, especially going up against a very difficult team to try to take on in Cloud9 Academy. This is a team that have been so dominant in Academy for so long. Doesn't matter which iteration it is, it feels like this organization has always landed at the top with whatever roster they put together.
They know the value of Academy. The Academy players are just in line to go to the LCS, whether it's for selling it over to other teams, but even just having superior scrim partners. It's hard to understate how valuable it is. The fact that you can always count on your Academy team to give you the better practice than other teams as well. It's just a good environment for conversation between players to have that synergy between two teams that are at a equal or at least a level that allows you to have positive practice. Because oftentimes if your Academy team is just not good enough and your LCS team is too high, you don't even get value from practicing, right? You want to have something where both teams can meet and both get value from it.
And when you look at Cloud9 Academy, this team has a lot of value. We've already talked about Sven going down, King going up. King himself was a phenomenal player for this Academy roster, but then you have Darshan, you got Surenfire, Copy, the rookie of the squad, still looking phenomenal in that mid lane. Then Isles in the bot lane to be able to round it all out with Westrice at the head. This has been just a great-looking team. Even if they did fall just shy of being able to win the Proving Grounds finals against No.org, they had previously beaten No.org at that tournament, knocking them down into the losers just beforehand.
Yeah, and it wasn't really that close, right? They actually won fairly decidedly. It was No.org that then got that buff and suddenly really turned it on. They figured out that they needed to double down on their strengths, which were playing around that top side, whereas Darshan leaned more onto his tanks. And that was an area that felt like No.org really understood how to get the most out of. So I don't know if there's any teams in Academy just yet that are going to be playing that way, but with Niles in the top lane, who used to play plenty of carries back in his collegiate days, they could play off of a certain strategy that did work well for No.org in the grand finals.
And it makes me wonder what we are going to see out of Niles in this top lane. We saw, just in the last series, Gwen make it through, and in the laning phase was pretty brutal, but Jenkins was just on point on his Ken. Even if he did lose one 1v1 fight, he was all about being a part of the team fights. He was all about making sure that he could contend and be able to get those huge flanks from that slicing maelstrom. And someone like Niles, maybe he wants to be able to really flex his might against this veteran status player in Tarshan.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see what Niles has, whether he wants to flex like that, or I think he's going to go with a more humbled approach and realizing how much he's got to learn. That's one of the things I always hear from him, whether it's on his stream or in interviews, that when you go from a collegiate or even academy to pro, the jump in knowledge that you need to have for playing as a team is so much higher. It's not about the 1v1 lane that is the struggling point, because you can always watch a solo queue VOD or see a pro game, but it's about the 2v2, the synergy with your jungler, with the support, because right now we know top lane's a mess. Top lane is just a fiesta for the jungle, the support, and even the mid laner to teleport to your lane and just ruin your wave state or whatever it is you thought was going to happen. So it's that inclusion of the teammates into the top lane that I think is what is most missing in Niles' gameplay, and that will hopefully improve here in the academy.
As we jump into the draft, we actually have Varus be the first ban coming in from Golden Guardians. But Renekton, we're expecting to see a lot of that ban. We didn't really get a touch on that because we were so focused on Gwen and Viego. But these are some solid bans coming in, especially when you look at Lee Sin. We saw him both times be flexed around all over the place. The only one that's a little bit of a standout is that Varus.
Yeah, the Varus was not prioritized at all in the last series. So seeing it here, I think is a respect to Sven, right? He's just really good at that pick, played it a bunch on MSI, so he must have had some extra practice that maybe 11.11 players haven't really been testing it. So instead, we get to see something that was permabanned in the previous 2 games with the Udyr first pick.
Not too surprised when you see that when you see that Senna ban instead of the Udyr, that it's going to be immediately picked up. I wonder if it's just going to be the shake of hands. No, actually it's going to be Rumble as opposed. I was wondering if maybe it was going to be the Morkan Udyr that we had seen all over the place at MSI. But Chartfire actually wants to be able to bring that Rumble in the jungle back for us.
I think Golden Guardians has to deny a Nautilus here.
They have to.
The combo we saw from TL was just too easy, The Rumble Nautilus combo with the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa and Nautilus are great at eliminating any target that is just isolated with that ultimate. They're gonna go with another hook champion. It can be pretty good at bailing somebody out of the equalizer. But if you combo a Nautilus on top of it, you just wait for the knockup. You're still gonna get burned down. You're not gonna have Lantern safe every single time. Thresh did get a slight nerf as well, so I worry about this one. There is a greater synergy with the Udyr and the Thresh than you could have had with the Nautilus, of course, since you can Lantern him out as he bear stances in, having no way to really escape. But this is just so easy to execute. Yeah, we saw it coming, and if you watched the first 2 games, you knew how strong it would be.
And I feel like it's going to be pretty strong throughout the rest of the day as well. If he's not banned, if he's not picked, if you're giving over that Kai'Sa Nautilus bot lane, you gotta have some sort of answer. And as you said, it doesn't feel like Thresh is exactly the best answer, just because all you have to do is be able to get the depth charge on to Prismal, and that's really what's going to matter. That's how you're going to be able to take this Jinx out of any equations. But as we jump into the next part of the ban, speaking of taking people out of the equation, Niles' Gangplank. We saw what a good Gangplank could do last series, and it's no surprise to see it here.
And the GP is always great if you're going to be playing around bot side. It's just the global that is so feared, just takes up the entire size of the lane. Set gets banned out from the side of Golden Guardians, so they're both kind of identifying what do we think their compositions are lacking right now. What do you think they want to pair it with? So more team fighting on the side of Cloud9 and more engaging on the side of Golden Guardians is what they are banning away. So I still think, though, that Cloud9 has plenty of options right now. We're just seeing standard picks, but we're getting a slight trickling from our previous game and how tasty this new meta can be.
Even though, you know, that Aurelia ban is a little bit of a spicy ban, really hitting towards that top lane. But Yunbi likes to play that mid lane too, so that flexibility has been taken away from Golden Guardians Academy at the moment. But I want to see if we're going to see some truly spicy picks here. You were talking about everything seeming more standard,
Oh, no.
more boring. But I want to see if we get some fun picks coming through.
I mean, it's Gnar. I think this is a hard Gnar angle.
Has to be Gnar, right?
Yeah, Irelia, Jace, and Gangplank have been banned. So you're gonna blind the top lane. Darshan can take blind Gnar into the top side and be very happy with it. It works with the comp. You just Golden Guardians just set them up for it. You gotta have an answer for this, Niles. I mean, you could go with Camille if you're gonna give us that crazy throwback of Camille Galio, but the Galio got nerfed, so I need to see something creative here out of Golden Guardians, or else I don't see the justification for these bans when you just gave Darshan such a free lane.
Well, maybe an Akali instead. I do know that Niles has played a lot of that Camille in the past, but we're getting the Akali. We aren't, you know, certain exactly where that's going. Probably going to be in that mid lane, who's going to be piloting that. But it is curious. If it's mid lane Akali, that is a blind Akali you've now drafted for yourselves.
She's gonna be pretty good, right? The control mages don't bully her that much with the fleet, with her sustain. Yeah, so I guess they just wanted Akali and Gnar. You called it. Niles has been practicing this pick, I guess, and he must have experience with it. Otherwise, you really would not have asked it. You tunnel vision Cloud9 into it, and now maybe Akali and Orianna can give us a pretty cool wombo, though, right? Dashing in.
Ooh. But I like seeing this pick. I love Nocturne mid, and yes, you know, it's the Vedius special there, but it has been something that has been well played for some time now, ever since Stridebreaker has been that go-to first item for Nocturne. We have seen him all the time.
Just great at shoving, and the Rumble Nocturne Kaisa Nautilus combo is gonna be so easy to execute to delete Prismal or Yunbi. I mean, Lantern will really not save you. If you combo this correctly, it's not gonna keep you alive. You got multiple threats, which is positive, but press R to delete is a reality for Cloud9.
It is going to be really nice for them, especially if they can jump onto Prismal, right? You take away the Jinx, you take away the Hyper Carry. Sure, you gotta worry about Niles on this Akali, but from there you kind of just get a lot of magic resist. If there's no Jinx, then there's no way they can really burst through you.
Yeah, Prismal is sweating all the bullets on that Jinx spell right now because it is not looking easy to play this matchup at all. Level 6, right? It's not just in the team fight. It's level 6. The action won't stop in the bottom lane. The Gnar, the Nocturne, everybody wants to have a piece of this lane. So we need to see the early game from Golden Guardians be crisp, though, because if you can keep the Nocturne shoved back, if you can stay ahead enough that you can slow down the relentless ultimate in the bot lane, then it'll be much easier to keep the Jinx alive. But if you just keep even and you slowly C9 gets these kills into the bot lane, then it really won't be pretty.
Not at all. They're going to be able to snowball out of control if they're able to make that work. That's going to be the big thing. For Golden Guardians, that is going to be a saving grace. If they can keep this calm, cool, collected, they're able to stop a lot of the fights coming in from Cloud9. They have great scaling. You have an Akali, something that is going to be a terror in the late game. Jinx, obviously, we all know that she's one of those hyper-scaling AD carries. Even an Orianna has deceptively high damage in the late game team fights.
The Orianna is the premier blind mid, really. When you want to control mage, it's just so easy now. The phase rush did get nerfed. Right, so she is actually more susceptible to ganks. That Udyr is not that fast, but she'll still accomplish the same thing. I think it'll still keep her out of harm's way. Should be able to avoid the tether from the Nocturne with this rune. So I also think that part of the Sven showing down to Academy is actually a really positive thing for everybody else in the Academy. Because if I'm an AD carry in Academy, and I'm thinking about I want to go into the LCS, what better way do I have to prove myself than laning against the best AD carry in the LCS thus far? I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. Watch, if I can outlane him, if I can kill him in lane, even just CS better than him, I'm putting that on my resume.
And this is going to be a great showing for Prismal. This is a player that a lot of people have been asking to be given a spot in the LCS for quite some time. Back when he was on, I believe, the 100 Thieves Academy roster too. People are saying, this guy is doing really well. Let's give him a spot in the LCS. Well, like you said, if he can beat Sven, that is a huge statement. That is a huge signing off of this player deserving a spot in LCS. Many can argue King in the same boat there, since he had this dominating performance in the spring split of Academy and Proving Grounds.
Yeah, King had a great showing, and even before he was sent back to Australia when he was not able to compete with Cloud9, that was arguably an even more dominating time for him. Meanwhile, though, we got Darshan trying to assert his own dominance against Niles, but it's only because he knows his Rumble is in the area, and he was about to hit level 3 with a minion. So Niles has his shield. He'll be fine. He'll be safe. He's just looking to farm.
Just looking to see if he can get some of these minions, especially that cannon. Oh, no. The 5-point strike wasn't enough. He lost the cannon. It's over. It's over, Alberto.
Yeah, you need to put an emote. You need to do a thumbs up. If you're that. At least you got to have some self-awareness. That, even if there's no one watching, you just got to build the habit that you're trolling yourself, that if you miss the cannon, you really are hurting your income.
Yeah, and you can already see that not only just in the income, but also in the CS that he's quite far behind. Oh, the burn. Barely enough to be able to get Rosethorn that Scuttle Crab bot lane. But it's a trade right now. There's a lot of pressure in this bot lane. Oh, this is cheeky. Look at this. Newbie getting the flash in. They got the stun with the bear slap. Run stun, job done. No escape. First blood for Prismal.
Beautiful. That was really good. Now, C9 is going for a dive, but Niles has Shroud. I think he's fine.
Trying to get the answer. They're looking to see if they can get him. That damage, though, from the Flame Spitter was huge. And Niles trying to see if he can outweight, but it's not enough, even with the Shuriken flip. About to go Mega, and there's the kill gifted over to Darshan.
Ooh, okay, he buys a lot of time there, but Cloud9 juggles the aggro really well on that one. Good response there. Luckily, he has TP, and because he bought so much time, he's actually able to TP back here and catch the wave. Had C9 taken less damage, they would have just stuck around and made sure he got truly punished and would not have caught any of that one. So despite Niles having gone down as a counterplay, I think it actually ended up working really well. So let's see Golden Guardians go for this, because this was frankly great. Rosethorn gets his bear slap right as Sven flashes, so the hook is so easy to connect. And then, meantime, well, Cloud9 has to make a cross-map play. They know there's nothing else. And then the turret aggro here, the juggling was just beautiful there. Sharon Fire takes 2 initial shots. They wait their time. Nobody else. Now Copy goes in, takes 3 more. Actually just gets creep blocked is what really hurts him. Otherwise, he needed to only take 2.
But like you said, it was just immaculate juggling of aggro from all the members of Cloud9 Academy there to make sure that they can get that kill onto Niles, forcing the early TP. And since he has Ignite, he's kind of needing and desperate to find these fights, to find these kills over Darshan. Right there was a great trade for him, but he's got to get some of these kills soon, otherwise it's going to be a little bit rough for him in the mid game.
Yeah, the Akali needs to get fed, needs to get farmed up, so the farm is okay, but I'm also really curious to see what Cloud9 intends to do with Darshan, because in the finals, they really played to him around weak side, yet building up to the Proving Grounds tournament, he was playing so many wonky carries. I mean, this man busted out the Tryndamere. It's another gank.
He did. And look at this. Pretty much with the paranoia, the Flame Spitter, you cannot escape from that, and they gift the kill over to Copy this time round.
We need to hear some MIA calls in the mid lane, because Nocturne getting that off should not have happened. Here comes Rosler flashing in.
Bear slap, looking for the damage, and the body block in from Isles, but they still got the kill for Prismal over Sven. Isles will be able to escape as Rosethorn barely holding on to his life. The Ignite not enough. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 global trade, but Prismal now with 2 kills.
I'm loving this. They're trading kills back and forth in the top lane. I think these are working in the favor of Golden Guardians, though. 2 kills for the Jinx. I'll take that any day of the week. The whole composition is built around her. She's going to have the Thresh to carry as well. They're looking for another one. Great hook.
Oh, but that hook in from Isles onto Prismal. He's got at least a little bit of help, but it's going to now be Equalizer burning with the Flame Spitter. Shut down, double kill for Surenfire.
Oh, they greeted out. They stayed too long in the bot lane, and then Isles with a good hook. Surenfire communicating. I'm about to hit level 6. Just keep going in. They didn't think that he was so close to that crucial level. Without that, they might have been able to even turn it. Well, the second the Equalizer comes out, they just roast him, and now that advantage, all that gold that went over to the side of Jinx, pretty much just transfers itself to the pocket of Surenfire. He now has the gold lead. He is now Giga fed, and Jinx doesn't catch this entire wave.
And Surenfire right now, he is Mr. Worldwide. 202, 100% kill participation here at 7.5 minutes on this Rumble. Anywhere he goes, they're finding plays. And when we look at this replay, it almost seemed like it was a little bit too much from Cloud9 at first.
Yeah, let's see. What minion? He smites it down, and he smites it down. I don't know if I saw Isles auto attack for a Targon's proc, but that was enough to get him for level 6. That was just a great knowledge of his experience, because that made all the difference in the world. Still, though, you got a lot of summoners out of Prismal, though, so you can actually return to that lane and keep some more action going down there, as it has worked so well thus far. But that whole thing we were talking about earlier about beating Sven, well, kind of doesn't count that much if you keep hard camping him, but if you win the game, then it does.
That was a nice shuriken flip there from Niles top lane to be able to avoid the Gnar ult and get away, because that's how it's, spelled. But anyways, going into this one right here, Rosethorn, he was unfortunate. I feel like we've seen this twice now today, where a jungler starts up the Rift Herald, almost feels like he was just leashing it for the other team. Thankfully, he had backup this time around. Niles was on the wings just in case, so that it wasn't a full-on leash, and he was able to still secure it for the team. And now actually might be able to go from one objective straight to the next onto that dragon.
They had full backup on that one, too. Newbie and Prismal were in the mid lane, too, just rotating over, making sure they could help. And even if they weren't there, you still got the Mega Death Rocket from Prismal that could have assisted in that fight. And when Darshan turned to Mini from the Gnar, well, he would have not been able. I just had to.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's like whenever I see Kled, his ult is charge. It's not charge.
Yeah.
If you look at how it's spelled, that's how it's spelled. But with all this being said, we're just getting excited. We're energized because right now, Golden Guardians Academy are looking pretty good. This is going to be their second objective if Rosethorn can lock down this, but they got to be careful. Paranoia from Copy, Lantern there, and here is the smite secured, and he gets out alive!
Huge play. You got the ultimate, too. That's Nocturne ultimate. It was used already to kill the out. Oh, hook misses.
Both hooks miss. Neither of them connecting, but you know what does not miss? It's going to be that Equalizer on a newbie. He had to flash away with the heal to be able to stay alive with the overheating. Shockwave not connecting onto Surenfire, taking a lot of damage. The Rocket too, but he's barely alive. Zap, flashed away by Surenfire. Does not want to give over shutdown gold to Prismal. That is a lot burned by Cloud9 just to stay alive.
I don't know if you know this, Magical, but there's a lot of ghosts on Summoner's Rift. That's what they're aiming at. They're cleaning out the rest of the river, the lost souls of everyone who's gone down there, because all those skill shots just going wide. Clearly, they must have been aimed at something else.
Too spooky, man.
Yeah, that fight could have gone a very different way, but all in all, they get the dragon, which was really important. Taking that objective down without having to burn the life of Udyr. And you got the Nocturne ultimate. That's some value.
Mm-hmm. A lot of value, I think, for Golden Guardians, because they have the Rift Herald still in the pockets of Rosethorn. They got the dragon, so that's the first dragon of the game for them. And once they are able to utilize this, maybe Niles is just going to be able to get a solo kill over Surenfire. Perfect execution was used, looking for the second mark. He gets the shutdown, solo killing the jungler, but now he might die. He is far behind enemy lines. Oh, is he going to try the TP? He's going to try the TP. Can they get it? Flash over the wall. Then he flashed over to stop it and give the kill over to Darshan, only barely catching him.
Okay, but they can actually get some good value on this. Udyr is in the bot side now. Are they going to pop the Rift Herald down here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at this. They pop it immediately. They want to be able to get that gold into Prismal's pockets. Niles, even though he's 1-3, that was a huge play, shutdown gold that he gets off of Schernfire. So much attention pulled up into that top lane to try to make sure he cannot escape with the TP flank. And now they pop Rift Herald bot lane to get all that gold onto Jinx, which pretty much brings her back up to speed where she was once before. Though if she gets caught out like this could be devastating. The damage on top of Prisma with the Ignite ticking away. They want to get the kill over to Sven with the Shockwave onto 2 members, but they figured out that they can easily blow up UNB, copy on the other side, making sure that Rose Thorn can't join in, and it's 2 kills for free for Cloud9.
It's just too easy to execute with the Nocturne, Rumble, Nautilus combination. It doesn't matter that the Lantern was there. The ultimate was gonna follow Prismal, and while he gets him out of the red carpet from Schernfire, the rest of the squad can follow up. Sven was right there with them, and so they kill him, and they don't even get that first turret down in the bot side. Unfortunate for Yunbi, though. He TP'd in there and added his own body to the death count because the Orianna did not accomplish anything.
Not at all. Unfortunately, poor Yunbi shows up there thinking he's there to be the hero and save the team, but he ends up becoming a victim himself. Now this is a huge swing of momentum over to Cloud9, where it seemed like Golden Guardians had gotten themselves this great position, right? They were able to pop Rift Herald bot lane, almost were able to crack that first turret and gift all that gold to Prismal, but then everything collapsed. Then all Cloud9 showed up into the bot lane. We were able to get a nice hook from Isles onto Prismal to start it all off.
They're greeting out for the turret, right? That's really what he wants. It's almost there. That's really all he's asking for, but doesn't respect that Cloud9 is going for counterplays, right? So much has happened in other sides of the map that then Cloud9 has their own turn. It's their opportunity to make something happen on the map, and that's been the case with every single play. It shows you it's a good game, though. It's a back and forth trade of plays on one side for the other, but that is where Golden Guardians needs to clean up, because they have been the ones making the first one and not responding what's coming out after.
Darshan getting a lot of damage onto Niles in the top lane. Goes mini, though, so he can't keep that extended trade going too long. But like you said, it's, at this moment, it's just been a kind of trade back and forth, right? Similar to how we just saw in the top lane. Even though Darshan was able to get a lot of damage on the Golden Guardians, it wasn't enough to really knock them out of the fight. They're still well within this game, only down 1,500 gold, having gotten the first turret gold in that bot lane, so they can get an early Gale Force for Prismal and get this Jinx online a little bit sooner.
I like the Gale Force choice here. You need more mobility. You absolutely have to. It's the only way to actually survive some of these crazy engages that are becoming out. And at 10 seconds away from this dragon, you already have that first one. They're not really in the best position, and you don't have the teleport from Niles. I don't think Golden Guardians is interested in fighting this at all.
No.
So they'll stay farming.
It's just a Cloud Dragon. Even if it's a little bit of cooldown reduction on your ult, they're okay with trading this one. It's not the most valuable for them at the moment, especially when you have an Udyr. Who cares? They're getting a little bit more Phoenix Dance, whatever. They can forfeit it if they want to. They just need to make sure they're not losing too much, such as losing both the dragon and the top lane turret that Darshan was able to grab for himself, and be able to utilize that a little bit more effectively into that 1v1 fight against Niles.
Okay, but they're going for it because Niles is walking down here. Risky fight, though. Equalizer and Meganar are halfway up, so C9 is more than happy to take this fight if it happens.
And they're trying to... There it is. They're going to be able to get the TP. Niles right on top of it, though, with the Shuriken flip. Here comes the Paranoia. The Darshan's about to go Mega. Jumps over the wall. Look at the damage on the other side with the Equalizer doing a little bit over to Rose Thorn, staying alive. Trying to kite back. Yunbi wants to be able to help. Whoa! Oh, it's a steal! We didn't think we'd see any more steals with the Rocket. Prismal still makes it work out.
Oh, they actually end up winning that fight. They can kill Copy. There's no one to help.
Oh, he did. He did. Look at this. Look, no, just ignore it. Oh wait, or do we ignore it? Oh, or do we ignore it? Okay, he still dies, but it doesn't matter because look, it's Sven now joining in the fight. Niles was able to get 2 for himself, but he dies to Darshan. All the while, Schernfire scares away the bot lane of Golden Guardians. The Flame Spitter so huge with finally, the triple kill for Darshan. Prismal flashing away, the flash-in Flame Spitter, and it is going to be more kills put onto Cloud9.
They just can't say no. They have to keep going. They got the dragon. They saw that one kill, but they had everybody in there. Maybe they shouldn't have even gone for copy. Who knows? But they had clearly come out victorious against all odds in that dragon fiasco. Might even be able to get that mid-tier 1, but they end up losing so much for it at the end of that. Because again, it's not just the kills. It's those summoners that are so important in keeping you alive. The combo of Nautilus was not used at all in combination with the Rumble Equalizer. In fact, they're trying to go on Rose Thorn. Right, the Nautilus ultimate goes out, and then the fun part here is he gets Lantern over into the Equalizer. Everybody flashes away, so it doesn't really burn anybody. And then the rocket. Now.
Oh, poor Schernfire. He had the smite, but, you know, this fight kept going on, and I thought the copy was going to die before anyone was going to be able to show up to help him.
So maybe the problem was actually that Rose Thorn did not manage to get out of range of the fear. And because he was in their stance, when he got feared, he kept running in the direction he already was. So he forced him deeper into the Cloud9 side. And so the rest of the team is thinking, well, we gotta back our bro up. We can't just let him run in there by himself.
Yeah, well, speaking of running in there by yourselves, looks like Schernfire's been left out to dry once more, and they're going to be able to get the assassination from Niles on the other side as well, barely surviving these picks coming in from Golden Guardians, keeping them well within this game.
He's got a bounty. I am impressed by how Niles has been playing this one thus far. He got camped, found a way to kill the Rumbles, found a way to make these plays across the map, and Cloud9 is not expecting it. The game plan for Golden Guardians has been to pick on bot lane, and they are transitioning it fairly well into these objectives. They're significantly far ahead. They've got both the Heralds, they've got the Dragons, and they're even in turrets.
Even in turrets, not even in gold just yet, but close enough. And didn't we say this before, that as long as this game stays relatively even for Golden Guardians, they're going to be able to scale? You can see where the gold kind of had set at the moment. Well, Darshan has a lot of that. Niles is still doing well. Sure, he's down 2,000 gold. That's where the difference is. As long as Darshan is not a part of these fights, Niles is going to be able to do what he needs to, which is assassinate the backlines, assassinate Sven.
Exactly. The gold is in Darshan, so his value will come out on the Mega Nars. The Mini Nar just running people down won't be as strong as his massive ultimate, so he is the one that can carry this game back up. He's already got the Stride Breaker in. This TP is looking to catch out Copy, but it's going to bring the whole team over.
Here's going to be the Paranoia, and look at the damage in from Niles. Trying to get the Paranoia away, but the perfect execution going to be able to follow up, and that damage, finally, they pick up the kill. The Equalizer is into the wall. It's doing nothing, even though Darshan huge with that Mega Gnar ult to be able to take 2 back.
All right, that was pushing it. That was too much. Golden Guardians, they saw the Nocturne, but that is a really difficult champion to pick that way, because when he turns off the lights, nobody else can actually follow you up. There is no way for either Prismal to aim his ultimate or for the Lantern to be any much better. There is such a hard time for the rest of the team to actually follow those guys going in so deep. And so when the TP comes out, you saw just how quickly Cloud9 sent everybody to the top side. They were not going to let Copy go down without a fight.
Not at all, and with that, they gain control back on the map and find themselves at a near 3,000 gold lead. They want to make sure they're not giving up the soul point potential over to Golden Guardians. You can see how they've been able to transition a lot of that vision down bot side, but they maintain a decent and healthy amount on the top side as well. Cloud9 are in this perfect position to keep themselves well within grasp of fighting Golden Guardians, especially right here. Oh, Niles, do you want to fight this against Darshan? He's got a huge lead over you. You've got a lot of burst damage, sure, and he is mini. Trying to see if they can follow him up. He's over the wall, and the rocket gets the shutdown. Prismal is going to be so happy with that.
So much gold over to the Gnar. I don't know what Darshan was doing taking that route, but that was so dangerous. The Dragon is coming back up. So maybe Cloud9 was thinking about prepping around the Baron to try to take something out.
No one there.
But that's a big deal. That's Ocean Soul now for Golden Guardians after this objective, and even more gold to the pocket of the Jinx. You can't be giving away those bounties like that without getting anything in return.
Grumps, where was his team if he's going to be setting up around the dragon? I was just praising them, how they had all this vision control around it, and it's the caster curse coming true for Darshan. He feels too confident. He feels like he's allowed to walk up that far because they had a little bit of vision, while his team was completely topside.
We underestimate our power, Magical. The game is happening after our words. We're seeing it. Our live words turn into League of Legends gameplay, so we just need to be careful next time.
So I shouldn't say that Flash is an offensive summoner and they're all going to flash forward for kills, right?
Oh, if you want that kind of gameplay, and I think
I want that kind of gameplay.
I'm a fan of the forward Flash.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That's how I always see Flash. Flash is an offensive summoner. You always use it to get kills. As right now, looks like both teams playing a bit more passively, unfortunately. Not using those flashes aggressively just yet. Trying to see if they can set up around this Baron, especially now that Golden Guardians have gotten themselves within that soul point. 3 dragons. Going to be that Ocean Dragon up next too. If they can get the Ocean Soul, that is going to be massive for them. This is a team composition that has been wanting to scale up, that has been wanting to make sure they can get all this gold into Prismal, even more gold into Niles, and they have been doing so. They've been finding these proper fights. That shutdown from Prismal on Darshan is massive to keep them in, and now Prismal is able to dodge away and juke Isles.
Okay, the hook barely missed. Oh, he can
Oh, well, there it goes. You know what? Second time's a charm, Prismal. You don't have Gale Force. And now with the TP in, trying to see if they can follow up on the Yunbi, making sure that they chase him away. But Surenfire has been split away from the team. Niles wants to be able to kill him, but they just can't just yet. Nice hook coming in from Isles on the Niles. Got to be able to take the Lantern away. Perfect execution back over. But this means Cloud9 feel a lot more confident starting up the Baron.
Oh, so easy. The gold is all onto the Jinx. Orianna is Shockwave. That's pretty much all they've got. Udyr can flash steal, though.
He does a flash. It's down to 50. Niles is dead. And they got a killing spree. And the jump in on the Yunbi with the flash away from Newbie. He'll be able to survive, but this isn't looking too good now from Golden Guardians. They had this momentum, but if they lose the Baron, a lot of that is going to be picked up by Cloud9.
Let's see if Rosethorn can steal it. It's going to be
Are you
blind,
the hero?
though.
TP in. Trying to be the hero. Control ward is down, but Darshan is only mini. Trying to be able to get over the wall. Rosethorn running away. You gotta flash in the pit if you're gonna go at all. He's waiting it out, but they've kited him back, and he had to flash a defensive style to be able to survive. Baron finally picked up by Cloud9.
Oh, such a close fought fight, but how it all started, my man. Prismal, you can't be doing that. You can't be taunting a Nautilus in the face. Just got way too confident for how important he is to the team, and that really could have cost the game for Golden Guardians. They're gonna have to claw themselves back. It's gonna buy a lot of time for Cloud9, because now they're gonna have the Baron to set them up for this next dragon fight, which was the soul. It was a critical moment for Golden Guardians. Lucky for Prismal, he still has his flash, so this next fight could still be played out well. Now you got to deal with the side lanes from Cloud9, which will be able to collapse so easily. Let's see how Niles gets CC'd right away, because he doesn't seem like he got to proc his Shroud, and yeah, no, that was actually Isles with a very quick reaction on his own hook to hook Niles out of his stash and prevent him from dropping his Shroud.
It's one of those plays where it's just so easy, and then here, Darshan, many able to chase down and force out this defensive flash from Rosethorn. He wanted so bad. You can see he was like trying to position so he could flash into the pit, but Cloud9 perfectly peeled off, so there's no way he was going to be able to do so.
Yeah, the key thing was they killed the control ward. It looks so goofy because he had no flash, and here they're going to go after Darshan, but he's fine. But yes, he had no vision of the Baron, so he'd have to flash blindly, and maybe there is a chance he steals it, but to go for that kind of play is just so risky. You know, half the time, if the enemy team is good, you actually just die and burn your flash doing it. But at the end of the day, he still burned his flash, so who knows? Maybe he should have gone for it.
Yeah, I mean, he survived, though. I guess that could be the argument. He didn't die, but yeah, like you said, it's just like, at that rate, you're going to lose it anyways. You're not really going to gain too much more. Maybe you just hold on to the flash die, so that way, when it comes up to this dragon, you're going to be able to put up a little bit more of a fight. Now you don't have a flash. Now it's going to be much more difficult to actually make sure you are controlling this pit, since Cloud9 are already starting to rotate and try to see if they're going to be the ones to be able to deny the soul for a little bit longer.
Their Baron is about to wear off, though, so let's see how they actually approach this fight, because they're leaving the lanes. They're not going to have those minions shoving out relentlessly. Watch Niles. Can he actually get onto Sven? Because Sven can so easily reposition to help every single diver, so it's not an easy champion to assassinate at all.
Oh, but he's spotted out by the blue trinket there. There you can see Cloud9 already peeling off, not wanting to fight this one. Not unless they know exactly where Niles is. Now they know he's there with the control ward. Niles has got to be really careful if he wants to be able to get this assassination off. But the fight has been started already. Darshan about to go mega, wants to be able to get a huge Gnar ult. But now the damage on a Rosethorn, he's killed before Niles could show up in the Twilight Shroud, trying to be able to get away with the perfect execution. Shockwave was huge, but it didn't do enough. Even with the rocket, they got a double kill for Surenfire and the follow-up with the Lantern. Yunbi trying to be able to get away, but they've got the flash in, they've got the rampage, they've got the kills coming in from Cloud9 Academy. A clean ace for themselves, full control of the Rift.
Cloud9 dominated the terrain in that fight, and they didn't even need the Nautilus ultimate to zone out Prisma. When the paranoia came down, it was so hard for the rest of Golden Guardians to actually go in. Jumping Prisma was enough to buy them the time to just disengage from the initial fight, and then the Akali just could not get in. Right, she had no opportunity to fight, so they're losing a 4v5 in the darkness. They didn't need to chase the Jinx. They just knew they had the rest of the fight won. There wasn't her auto attacking. She was zoned off, and just how she was missing in the Baron fight, it makes it all too easy for Cloud9 to win the rest of the fight 4v5.
And from here, we got to take a look at this replay. And unfortunately, just Niles, he never was able to find that angle soon enough.
And a big part of it is Rosethorn oversteps. There's nothing to look for as the Udyr walking in melee range of these champions. They're going to engage onto you. So when he oversteps, that's the cue for Cloud9 to go in and just dive hard and easily peel back, since Udyr is dealt with. Niles can't find anything in the back because he doesn't have any diving partners, and so Cloud9 just picked them apart one by one. Every single member was dealt with in a proper fashion. Here's another paranoia, but looks like it was looking for Orianna.
Oh, okay. Looking for the damage onto Yunbi. Gets the fear, and with Rosethorn on the side, the shockwave does not help. Somehow Sven was able to snipe that away with the W.
He flashed into the projectile. I don't know if Sven predicted that one, but he got the kill.
Let's just say he predicted it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
You camped him. You camped Sven, and look at what you did now. He's up in CS, got 700 gold up. Doesn't seem to matter at all.
And the equalizer thrown out, the flash away from Newbie to be able to survive with the TP into, trying to see if they can get the fight onto Darshan, getting a lot of damage, but Niles, he's in a bad spot, trying to be able to get away, the damage over the wall, looking for the harpoon, not going to be able to get it, but it doesn't matter. They got the fear, and they got the godlike Sven, showing why he's one of the strongest 80 carries we have seen in NA, and he is decimating here in Academy.
Yeah, just hard crush. All his deaths were in the laning phase. It was all the action that happened so early on, just immediately turned it on. Didn't lose CS, didn't lose the fighting spirit, and it just looked clean. This is an even faster win than the ones we saw from TL in our first best of 2.
Feels like each victory is getting faster and faster today. Cloud9 Academy, with our fastest one we've seen here so far of the season at 29 minutes and 30 seconds. I think the last one was 30 minutes and 35 seconds and then 31 minutes. I mean, so it's all around the same time zone, but either way, dominating performance out of Cloud9.
Yeah, it's really good stuff out of them. Bouncing back against the early aggression from Golden Guardians. It looked like they always had a plan in mind. Golden Guardians did have some strategy behind their play. It made some sense, but ultimately they needed to respect how fierce Cloud9 were going to fight back. They weren't just going to give up those kills and slowly roll over. They were willing to fight back and go the distance. I think that's what caught Golden Guardians off guard, and that's why Cloud9 won the last Academy, right? That is the way they play. They are not going to give you the opportunity to make a play and not take anything in return.
That's impressive to see out of this team consistently, time and time again. They're able to play it really smoothly, really calmly, where a lot of other teams might panic, especially when you get ganked over and over again like Sven had in this game. He was able to hold it off. He was like, all right, it's fine. We'll just wait till the team fights. And once he got to the team fights, he didn't die.
Yeah, not at all. Bounty and the CSing too. The CSing, staying ahead, staying consistent with it. I'd love to see what would have happened with Golden Guardians had that Baron play not gone that way. If we got a bit of a slower transition into the advantage that Cloud9 ended up getting, because that one felt like it just blew the game wide open, and it didn't feel like it was necessary. It wasn't a fight around something that really ought to have happened, but that's what Cloud9 can do with a pick like Nautilus. The second you overstep, bam, ult, you're dead. Thank you very much. That's Baron, and we'll take the game.
Well, for now, we're going to toss a break. We'll break down this game a little bit more with some replays, so stick around until after the break. We'll be right back.